What's good? It's your boy Logic back in here with a motherfucking video. Let's get into it. All right, with Tales from the Dark Side. And when I mean Tales from the Dark Side, what I really mean is just trying to have a logical conversation with a female. I know you shouldn't try it, you shouldn't do it, but I do it anyway. Put myself through the headache, you know what I'm saying, for y'all, right? Just so y'all can kind of see where females' heads be at, right? Close the door real quick. All right. Um. All right. At my job, there's these two females. Um. They're pretty good friends, right? Um. I would go on a limb and say they're best friends, but if they said otherwise, then it is what it is. But I would consider them close friends, if not best friends, right? Um. They made a statement. Something like when they go out, when they're kicking it or whatever, they get a lot of compliments about like y'all look like sisters, and they might have said something about mom and daughter or something like that, which to me is weird. Because I mean, if she looked like, let's say, if the older chick looked like a cougar, where like she was just old enough to where she could have a kid that could look like her, you know what I'm saying? Then I could understand the whole y'all look like mother and daughter, and then flip flop it to y'all look like sisters. To me, it's like those are two very big different contrasts. But I mean, that's what they said. So whatever case may be, I threw my little 2 cents in, and then it steamrolled into some other shit. And I said that, to be honest with y'all, if I didn't know y'all, I might have actually thought y'all were dating, right? And they kind of was taken aback, like, what? Like, and I'm like, I mean, for real, I said, she's 40 and you're 20, right? I mean, one's Hispanic and one's white. Y'all don't look nothing alike. So I wouldn't expect y'all to be, a mother and daughter. Y'all look nothing alike. One's a little bit heavier set. One's a little bit, in the middle. And like y'all look like y'all don't even look related at all, right? And girls can go out on the town or whatever and kick it with their girls. That is true. Um, and I'm not saying it's not impossible or it's not like normal or whatever, but usually girls don't hang out with other girls twice their age if it's not for like a special occasion, like family members, a gathering, or something like that. But just on a regular basis, you got someone who's like 40 and a chick that's like 20. So I'm thinking, okay, they probably have really not much in common to talk about if they're both living the type of lifestyle they should be living, right? And what I mean by that is, if the 40-year-old got a husband and some kids, and the 20-year-old's like still going through college trying to find her career or whatever, to me, y'all really wouldn't have like really some core things to talk about. Like, y'all could talk about boys and regular super generic shit, but y'all's life goals and problems and shit like that would have nothing to do with each other. Like, so from that standpoint, like if I didn't know them, I would be like, maybe they date. Like maybe the older chick likes younger girls or whatever. Because in this new age or whatever, girls are experiment. You know, they're experimenting. They're turning their back on men. They're saying men are dogs, so they might try batting for the other team. And that's cool. That's I mean, it's not unbelievable, right? And they kind of got looked at me crazy and whatever. And I'm like, I said, y'all don't see how that makes sense. And she's like, what do you mean we don't have nothing in common? Or what do you mean? Like, I'm like, okay. I said, let's step back. Let's step back. Let's take our emotions out of it. I said, she has kids, pseudo kids. And what I mean by that is she was with a guy who had kids, and she kind of adopted the kids. She didn't legally adopt the kids, but she took on the kids as her own. So she treats them just like her kids. Lets them stay with her, whatever. They recently got went through like a little breakup or whatever, but she still stays involved in the kid's life. And I'm like, you a better woman slash man than me, because I'd be out of there. But it's understandable. That's the risk you take when you're dealing with somebody with kids. You can grow attached to those kids, right? So I said, so she's put on a burden on herself that she didn't have to, but it's there. So any issues that come up with those kids, it'll be her issue to kind of figure out. Now, we got the 20-year-old, no kids. I'm thinking like, okay, so when she goes through issues with those kids and the baby's daddy and all this other crazy shit, what is the 20-year-old, like, what type of advice is the 20-year-old going to give her? And if she gave any advice at all, how high of would you hold it up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not talking from experience. Now, this is why when you have best friends and shit, it's cool to vent to friends and even soak up in some of the advice or whatever. But if you really want to solve your problems, if you really have any a need to really solve your problems, you have to seek it from people who will be able to give you sound advice. I know you want to give your friend the benefit of the doubt. You know, y'all road dogs. You tell each other everything. I'm not saying you can't tell them. More or less, I say you can vent to them, get it off your chest, and when you hear your problems out in the open, you might be able to solve it yourself. But when it comes to motherhood, kids, and this and that and other, I think you should talk to other mothers. You know what I'm saying? People who've been through it. Now, for some reason, they disputed me on this, saying that, oh, she got nephews and this and that and the other. I said, that's not the fucking same thing. The fact that y'all would reach that far, she's not responsible for them nephews to get to school, be clothed and bathed, make sure their homework's done, you know, make sure you go to their parent teacher conferences, and when it's time to go to the hospital, you're signing off on stuff and all this stuff. At any point in time, she gonna walk away from them nephews. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna walk away from the kids. Like, you know, yeah, they might come over and spend the night for a couple of days, but they're not living with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're literally talking about babysitting at that point. You know what I'm saying? Babysitting family members. Babysitting family members ain't the same as having kids. You know? So any advice she would give would be second, if not third hand. Now, that's not saying secondhand information, advice ain't worth shit. You know, it's more, you got to take it on a case by case basis and really be able to dip into your logical side and actually compute, like, would this really make sense? But like I said, that's not saying that your friends aren't worth venting to. But as far as you taking their advice seriously, you really got to vet who you're asking the advice from, you know, to make sure you got good, solid advice. Also, ask from multiple sources to kind of, you know, figure out maybe there's a middle ground or something like that, right? But like I said, they were fighting me on it. They were saying like, what would I know, this, that, and the other. I said it's common logic. Like, if you're having financial problems, wouldn't you want to talk to a financial advisor? You know what I'm saying? Like, if one's available, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't make sense. And she was saying that I think it's possible you don't necessarily need somebody that have to be have had similar issues or whatever to be able to take their advice, blah blah blah. That's what the 40-year-old said. I said, mm-hmm. And then another chick was like, you seem to talk a lot about girls, but you're not in a relationship, so why should we listen to you? And I said, okay, so now y'all speaking the exact opposites. One saying you don't need someone to be in the situation, take their advice. Now you're arguing that because I'm not in a certain situation that you won't take my advice. I said, y'all can't even agree. Y'all so busy trying to prove me wrong and not trying to soak in what I'm trying to tell you, that both of y'all are actually against each other, thinking it's against me. I've said, look, I'll argue both of y'all's points, but the fact that y'all can't even be on the same page just shows that y'all are grasping at straws, trying to find a way to make my argument fall apart when it's based in logic and common sense. Talk to like-minded people. You are 40 years old. I said, all right, let's go. Let's here's another scenario. So I talked to the 40-year-old. I say, look, If you could go back 10 years, find the perfect man, have babies, get married, or whatever like that, would you do it? Perfect man. Let's say I'm in this scenario, you could find a perfect man, whatever. For some reason, she was saying she wouldn't get married because she has some type of, that should tell you something. That's a red flag right there. Even though what with the perfect, like I said, it's the perfect man. So a divorce really wouldn't be an option in this scenario. I'm giving her all the perks. I'm saying if you can control your destiny and get all the perks, but even if you were to get divorced, you would walk away with cash and prizes. She still didn't want to get married. Like, I don't really believe in marriage, but if you gave me a dream world where I could pick my girl and get married to, I would get married. You know what I'm saying? So she obviously has some type of hate for men or distrust for men or whatever. That was already a red flag. But the point I was trying to make is where she's at in life right now isn't where she wants to be. And I said, same thing with me, man. I mean, if I could have went to college and became a famous artist or something, that'd be the case. Now, so I'm looking at the 20-year-old and I said, look, this 40-year-old is not in a place where she wants to be. You're kicking it with her and she's twice your age. Now, this also would be pretty cool if you were looking at her as far as a mentor aspect. Like, you know, she's your friend, but at the same time, she has qualities and achievements that you'd like to mimic, right? Then I could understand. Okay, I'm friends with somebody twice my age, but she has all the things of a woman that I want to be in the future. She just said that she's not in the place where she wants to be. So right there, that tells me that you can't even look up her in a mentor standpoint. Like, to follow this 40-year-old chick would be to head down her path where she's not happy. Now we can also flip it again. Personally, I think that the 40-year-old, her mind's regressed. Obviously, she has a disdain for marriage, even in a scenario where I gave her all the benefits, but she's kicking it with a 20-year-old, going out hot girl summer, doing all that other shit. And I'm like, a normal 40-year-old woman would be out, trying to get married, starting a family, living that adult life, but she's living that 20-year-old life. Like, maybe she missed out on that shit when she was younger, but for her to try to relive that shit in her 40s is ridiculous. And it just shows you, like I said, outside looking in, if I didn't know these two, I would think they was, dating or something, because their lives are completely different. But what it seems like is the 40-year-old has regressed her life to teenage status, early 20 status, and trying to live her life out as a 20-year-old in a 40-year-old body. It doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I'm explaining this, being raw with them. I said everything I just said to y'all, I said to them. I said that I think that she's regressed because, you know what I'm saying, there's really no point that a 40-year-old would talk to a 20-year-old unless you were trying to give her advice on life in this, but then you're not even in a place to where she would want to mimic. I mean, if you're telling her don't be like me, then the best way to do that is not to hang around you and hang around girls that know what the fuck they're trying to do. So, like I said, they guys got mad at me, like, because I was shedding some light. They were trying to find a way to like invalidate what I was trying to say, but I'm just like, look, I'm not trying to shame y'all. Y'all good friends. Y'all rely on each other. That's cool. I'm just saying that it's not the most normal thing to see a 40-year-old kicking it as much as y'all do, with a 20-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Men, it would be a little bit different because we bond over things and stuff like that. And most guy problems aren't really that complex. There's not much emotion in it. It's just, man, I'm trying to fix this tire on a blah blah blah. Even if the other dude don't know how to fucking fix tires, we would go at the problem together and we would trial and error to fix that shit. And that would be the general problems that we would probably have. There might be some girl issues here and there, But that's locker room talk. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, this is a little bit of a long video, but like I said, I went into no man's land, you know, trying to spit some logic to these females, and they wasn't trying to hear it. But what do you think? I get at y'all later. This is Logic back in here signing out.